Hello. Been a few days, hasn't it? Friday, we were off. I was going to stream on Friday, but then I decided to do some housework because my grandma was coming up. I thought, might as well make the house clean. So Saturday, mowed the lawns, and then my grandma arrived. Sunday, was out with her family pretty much all day. Had to hold the hand of a 90-year-old lady as we walked around, but that's okay. And then yesterday, just hung out with her for a bit and then sent her home. So it's been a busy weekend, especially with Formula 1 on, because I have been waking up throughout the night on the weekend to watch, right? So I've been tired. Oh, probably the most tiring weekend I've had in a while. And next week, well, gotta meet up with some friends that I haven't met, so that's fun. December, like I said, is gonna be a busy one. But let's get what we can get done. See how far we can take Francie before all this busy stuff happens. Hopefully get her to survive. We are in the hinterlands. I didn't check the mail, obviously, last week because, well, I wasn't streaming on Friday. So Francie was already going to have all the mail, but yeah. So, yeah, I was going to put this on these pants when I got it. It's finally here, so... Even though I think we might get better pants there in Gorge. It doesn't matter. Feel a sneeze. Just immediately. This is great. Honestly though, I have been a bit fluey. Just runny nose and such. Over the last few days as well. Hanging out with the old people, you know, getting the old people germs. But it was kind of crazy. Because it was a surprise to my grandma's sister, who was the 90-year-old. She's the eldest. We just sort of rocked up at her house. And then she was like the most energetic 90-year-old I've ever seen in my life. The whole day. Like, she didn't need a nap. She didn't need to, like, rest. Just had energy to keep talking. Like, dang. Pretty crazy how energized you get when, you know, social situations happen or whatever. I don't think I'm going to be that energetic when I'm 90. Social situations make me, like, shut down. I'm like, alright, I'll go AFK for a bit. In real life. But it was cool. Made me realize that my grandma's family was actually wealthy. You know, they all have nice houses and nice cars and everything. I'm like, where the heck were these guys when I was growing up? But my grandma says, well, they're wealthy because they don't help. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's when you got money, the only way to keep money is by not spending it and wasting it, you know. Alright, Francie, let's get to it. Will I use that one? Probably use the defense. We'll keep the fortitude though. But it's also a little bit cold today. You know, after last week's being Australian weather. Today is pretty chilly. It's raining. Every time I fight a mob on Francie when I first log in, it's just like the slowest kill ever. Started talking about it and then she started doing damage. It was insanely bad. Insanely bad. But other than that, I played a little bit more Warhammer Online, obviously. Been enjoying it. My Warrior Priest is almost out of tier 1. I haven't been playing a whole lot, but yeah, we're almost out of tier 1 on that. And then I'm probably just gonna join a guild, do some content. I think that's gonna be my MMO for a bit. When it comes to actually, you know, doing multiplayer content. I have no real desire to play Midnight, so I think WoW's off the table. Obviously, I want to do some TBC hardcore, but we'll see how life goes, because there are some major changes that I want to make in the near future. In terms of, you know, career and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how much time I'll have. That's why I'm trying to blast the Medley as quick as possible. I at least want to finish what I started, you know? Throat's a bit there. Like I said, I've been like having runny nose and shit, so not the best. If the Medley was done, I probably wouldn't stream any more World of Warcraft. Until maybe when TVC happens. That's pretty much where I'm at with this game. Been an enjoyable video game throughout my life. But there always comes a point where it's time to move on, right? I think WoW has definitely overstayed its welcome in some aspects. But I can't deny that it has been a video game that opened some opportunity. So who knows how things would have turned out if I didn't play WoW for 20 years. It opened opportunities, but also closed some. Obviously. When you're inside playing video games, I mean, I've told the story before about how my friends were like going somewhere and they were like, hey, you want to come out? And I was like, nah, can't. Because I wanted to play WoW. So, yeah, it opened some opportunities and also closed some. Funny like that. But later in life, when I reflect back upon it, I'll probably be like, it was a good time. I had fun. Maybe shouldn't have played as much, but you know. Fun is the most important thing in life. I think thankfully, Francie started doing damage now. That first mob was excruciating. It's still less than 100 DPS, which is... Baumer and Francie are definitely my weakest characters when it comes to just raw damage. Two plate characters. Even Frayne does more DPS, you know? It's just annoying. On the Boomkin. But I never said Boomkin did bad damage. You know, all those people that were commenting on that video about Balanced Druid having problems and saying that its damage is amazing, and it's like, I didn't say anything about the damage. There are other issues. Imagine issues not being black and white. 404 crit found. We did upgrade our Mortal Strike last level, yes. Don't really get anything at 50. Recklessness, which isn't really a button I enjoy using on hardcore unless I really have to, but you know, it shares with retaliation, so why would you really have to when you've got something better? In 90% of situations where you've got to use retaliation, recklessness, or shield wall, you're probably gonna press retaliation. That will get you out of almost 100% of those situations. In my opinion, at least while leveling. Maybe in a dungeon you can consider like a shield wall, but if you went into the pool where you have to shield wall with the thought of using retaliation in the first place, it would probably still be better. How I always view those 30-minute cooldown abilities. It's like, should I retaliation? Yes. Should I recklessness? Retaliation. Pretty much it. Very good. Especially with sweeping strikes. And when you get sweeping strikes and retaliation, you can start taking down like an elite pretty fast if he's got some friends. I remember fighting a rare in wetlands, and I popped retail, sweeping strikes. This was when I first got my whirlwind axe at level 30 on my non-medley warrior. And I killed him in about 2 seconds. He had 2 friends with him. I was like, holy shit, this is some real warrior. The mithril up there. I wouldn't mind some more mithril because we do need to get to 265 blacksmithing. But as I've mentioned, my only real issue with Francie is that her weapon is getting to the point where it's not that great. You know, Whirlwind Axe is a great weapon when you first get it. Especially if you get it around level 30. We got it at 36 doing it. Southbound. Well, account found because we didn't get the charms on Francie. He came from Rugen. You know, the trolls, Southbound, all that other stuff. Cyclonian. All done alone. So 36 was alright. But now that we're 48 and we've still got it, yeah, it's getting to the point now where it's like, it's not that great. I would rather not have it. But we even need to find a nice weapon of the beer. Preferably an X, for obvious reasons. 5% crit is a lot of crit. If you have to give up the 5% crit, it's like, I don't know if I can. How much crit do we have now? 16.2, that's with an agility potion. So we'd have about 15. So we'd go down to 10 if we got rid of X-Spec. Oof. Doesn't sound like a fun time. Want to crit all of my attacks. Makes overpower actually kind of useful, you know. Kill that one because it's the last mob we need. Now we've got to go find some wolves. Yeah, we need solid stone, so why I want some more mithril. We don't really need the mithril, we just need the solid stone, so I'm glad we're getting a lot of it right now. Like 11 from that forte, easy. We shouldn't need too much solid stone. If we get lucky, we only need 6, but we'll see what happens. Any wolves out here? Yo, wolves, where you at? Where the wolf, where the wolf, where the wolf at? Oh, there's another one. Sometimes you can see them nicely, and other times they're just like, I'm very invisible. Yeah, it was kind of funny because obviously I lived in Australia for not half my life. It was like 18 years or something overall. A long time of my life. I haven't seen some of the people that I saw over the weekend from my grandma's family. That was nice. There's one old chap that I sort of remember because he has a moustache and it like goes all the way out here and stuff. And I'm like, I think I remember the moustache. He shook my hand and he's like, nice to meet you. Unless we meet. I'm like, I think I remember you. But obviously, because it's been so long, it's like, oh, you're just re-meeting people at that point. It's fine. But I think I remember him because my grandma had a birthday party or something before I left for Australia. Pretty sure he was there. He also used to teach graphic design, like high school, so that was interesting. The craziest thing, now maybe it's just because their children tell them about it or whatever, but all of these old boomers were like, we'll call them old boomers because we're video game players, that's what we know them as. They were actually, you know, onto the idea of AI being not that great for society when it really comes down to it. Like, it's helpful to have AI in certain things, obviously. But the amount of jobs that have to get filtered out because of it is a bit of a disaster. Especially as someone who's in design. Like, I know people who've worked so many more years than I have in this industry, and they're just like, can't get work. And I don't like that. Like, I feel bad for the people who are career designers. I wouldn't consider myself one because I wear many hats, you know? But in the last, like, 10 years, I've been more into design stuff. I'm a man of many hats. Sometimes I get bored. Nice missing. My friend who kind of mentored me when I first got into design was like, hey, you gotta commit to it. I know you get bored of things every now and then, but you know, if you start, just commit, go hard. It was good advice for a while, but then I did get bored of it last year. So yeah, it's been winding down a bit. Been winding it back. Looking at other options. I think honestly, after helping the 90-year-old lady walk around places and get to where she needed to be, hold her hand, all that stuff, you know, it was kind of like, I could do support work, it would be fulfilling. Helping someone go throughout their day. Without having to worry about falling over, breaking. They're very fragile, those old people. Where are all the wolves? That is probably where I was headed anyway. Was something in healthcare or support work? I don't know if I'd stay in New Zealand for it overall, because New Zealand healthcare system has been gutted, but a lot of countries in the world also have the same issues. For whatever reason, the powers that be are very against healthcare and education. We know why. But it is a terrible thing to think about, isn't it? Stupid people vote for stupid people, and then stupid people also get hurt more. Brings in more money. And less support to the healthcare and education system means more money for things that don't need it, like politicians. I think whenever there's a system that doesn't work in society, politicians shouldn't make money, because they've obviously got work to do. But alas, we don't live in that society. We live in one that rewards stupid. For now, hopefully times will change. as Garrosh would say. Gotta be careful here. There is another stealth wolf over there, and you know, we're not super low health, but we are hovering around 50%, which starts to become a danger point on the warrior if you're always around 50%. As I mentioned before, though, it was also a F1 weekend. McLaren somehow, again, with the epic fumbles of the season, has made it even closer with just one race to go. I don't know how that team has even won the Constructors' Championship by so far this season. Like, they have been just dropping the ball all the time they get in. You can tell they had a very dominant car when they're that far ahead, but have been just constantly dog shit throughout the season. Why a lot of people are a bit miffed about this season, because if either of the McLaren drivers win the Drivers' Championship, it's kind of like, the car did it. Like, it wasn't really down to the drivers or the team. The team's been throwing just as much as the drivers recently, so... And I did big up the team, and then they started to throw, so I guess they wanted to make it fair. Have their fair share of fuckery. But yeah, there was one race weekend to go, so I won't be back on Monday next week. I will be either celebrating an epic end to the season, or I guess a new world champion. As someone who loves to see new world champions, like I always, every year I wish there could be a new one, you know? Someone else getting their taste of their dream finally coming true. As much as I do love that, there's a part of me that's like, man, Max winning 5 would be just the most insane story of this whole season, probably this whole regulations. Because he was over 100 points behind at one point. And that would make me feel better about 22, when Charles was 70 points ahead of Max and then lost the championship because Ferrari. Charles is my favourite driver. Give him a good car, Ferrari, or let him out of his misery and let him leave. Alright, we've got to find Gamarita. Someone died here. Maybe they died to Gamarita. We've got to find the alcohol. Let's start with the alcohol and run around the beach. Head back to town after this. I think we'll be questing into Naris once we're done here. Although I did want to go to the start of Searing Gorge. So we'll go do court in the escort and stuff over there. Hiccups. Nice. Love it. Love hiccups. Very fun. Especially when I haven't even no reason to. Yeah, we'll start by going Searing Gorge and then head back to Tanaris, hopefully at like 49. M49 before going back to Tanaris would be good, because Then we can just finish the zone. Then head back to Searing Gorge, finish that zone. And then we should hopefully be 50. I'd like to get to, say, 51, 52 before we go to Blasted Lanes on the Warrior, but we'll see. I mean, it will be fine at 50. It's just we're a Warrior, so everything's a bit scary. Especially with Whirlwind X. Speaking of, I should probably sharpen my weapon when I fight next. I always forget, honestly. The weapon sharpening stone is the hardest thing to remember. I wonder what would happen if someone was fighting Gamarita and then I took a photo of it. I wonder if it would, like, aggro towards. Probably not, because threat wouldn't happen, but you know, she starts running after us while we're doing this. So imagine if it worked like a taunt. It would be funny to try. Funny to interesting, what I was gonna say. Five more of these. And I guess after Searing Gorge we'll head down through Booty Bay so we can hand in this quest. So I also might need to go to Darnassus for Paralysis. We'll get to places when we need to. Someone called 47 just hit level 60. It's not even... Can't say the number because I'm not like a child, you know, so it's not funny to me. But anyone who has the internet knows what I'm talking about. I mean, even when I was growing up and, like, you know, 69 is the funny number from my generation. That wasn't even that funny to me. I understand it, but I never really understood it. Why it was funny. People just say things and hope they catch on, and then sometimes they do because people need some excitement and laughter in their life. I just laugh at cat videos. Is that a Whirlwind Axe? Nice. Same, dude. His has an enchant on it, though. It's a little bit better than mine. You know, I've been playing so much Warhammer Online, I actually looked up here for my XP bar. I was going up that cliff and I was like looking up here, like, where's my XP bar? Video games changing things around and moving things. To be fair, in that game it works up there because you've also got like renown, experience, influence, stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of... Obviously you have reap in this, but there's a lot of bars that you gotta get bigger in Warhammer Online. Food for baby. We'll be just shy of 40k into this level when we're done with this. About what I expected. We actually did get quite lucky with the silver main. Like, I think we only killed 7 or 8 of them. Didn't kill the whole forest like we did on... I think it was Friend? Maybe Alia? I can't remember. But I would say Francie's going to be another 2 weeks in development before we're done with her. And because I've got people coming to hang out in real life next week, I might turn into like 3 weeks. Like, they're gonna be doing their own stuff, obviously. They're traveling the country and looking at things, but I'll probably be out chilling with them probably next Wednesday. Throughout the whole day, I'd say. Go meet them on Tuesday afternoon after stream and then hang out Wednesday. Stuff like that. Thankfully, I only live like 10 minutes down the road from where they're staying, so easy. I did offer a room, by the way, just in case you're wondering. But there are 4 of them, so... Who that I don't really know. One that I've known for nearly 10 years, and one that I've known for probably a year now. Maybe a bit less. But it's always exciting to meet new people. Especially meet new people that you've been playing video games with for a decade. Like, wow. See, that's one thing that I'm thankful for WoW. Is the fact that I've been able to meet people from just all walks of life. Different countries, stuff like that, you know. Without WoW, it would have been a bit harder, but obviously the internet is in a place now where you could, no matter what, meet people from all walks of life. Like, there's a guy that makes YouTube videos about playing some dead games. Don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I've watched a few of his videos, and he always runs into like people who are playing those games, just, you know, chilling, basically alone, and then they start talking, and it's like, he made a new friend. Like, that's pretty cool. It's very easy to make a friend with a video gamer if you are a video gamer, I'm gonna be honest. Just start talking to someone, and then suddenly it's like your friends. Alright, let's fly down to the Badlands. Loch Madan. Yeah, because the hobby is so, like, open. If you like video games, there's probably many a video game that you would like, right? You know, surely there's not someone who's just like, I just like shooters. Like, he loves shooters, but he probably likes other video games, so it's pretty universal. So it is very easy if you get talking to someone from anywhere in the world who is also a video gamer to just be like, you can just chill, you know, have some fun. I haven't joined like a guild or a community in a while in video games, like MMOs, but there's a group of people who have been sort of recruiting some more oceanic time players on Warhammer Online. I was talking with them last week. So I might join them and then I can make many new friends. I think I inspired them because they only had like 1 or 2 people online during time when I would play for like 2 weeks. And then I talked to them and suddenly they got like 10 people online playing around that time. Maybe they were just like, oh shit, we're gonna have someone from Oceanic. We're gonna start playing around that time. Like last night they had 10 people on doing PvP and stuff. That's pretty cool. Because my friends, as much as I want to play the game with them, do make it very difficult when they want to play other games or just not respond to the question about playing. Yeah, we do have to go to Darnassus at some point. But honestly, we could do that before we go back to Foralis, which will be after Tanaris, I think. Searing Gorge, Tanaris, probably back to Searing Gorge, and then Foralis, probably to play. Yeah, I want to play Warhammer with friends, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't be playing with friends if I make new friends, you know? So, I think for me, as someone who wants to actually play, I think it would be better if I just go and do my own thing, and if my friends want to play, I have a character to play with them. We're only level 7 on those characters. We haven't really done much. But I was also doing some PvE questing on my Swordmaster last night for like 3 hours, and pretty fun. Getting pretty close to level 20 on that character. You know, I'm taking it kind of casually. I'm not leveling super fast. If I actually join this guild, I think my warrior priest will be leveling quite quickly. Because obviously I want to get to level 40 and all that stuff, but for now I'm just being a big casual, playing a few hours every other night or whatever. I don't think I would ever stream Warhammer Online unless I was doing a specific PvE challenge, like say a hardcore Warhammer Online playthrough. Because PvP streaming would be very not great, considering stream sniping can happen. That's the problem with like group-based PvP games, right? If you are streaming your PvP, let's say you're sitting in an area with your faction and you're streaming it, and then people from the other faction are watching that stream and getting all the information. Yeah, that isn't very good for anyone, I would say. But I definitely want to level my warrior priest. which is a strange thing for me still. Because the warrior priest is a healer. And me playing healer in MMO is like... what the heck? I just really like healing in that game for no reason. I haven't really ever tried DPS in that game though, so maybe I'd like DPS. I just never... I've been a tank or a healer in Warhammer, and that's it. Even when I first started, I rolled a healer. I was playing Disciple of Cain when I first started Warhammer, when it was actually out. Probably around 2010 era. Like, you know, Wrath of the Lich King was cooling down. We were in Icecrown Citadel for 9 months or whatever. I was like, I'll play this game, try it out. Came out right before Wrath came out, so now that I've played Wrath, let's try this one. I liked Warhammer enough. And even then I played a healer. So there's just something about healing in that game that drew me to it, I think. But I will definitely try out the Zeracotl. The two-handed warrior priest stuff later on. Maybe when I'm, you know, level 40 and I've got some real DPS gear. Because it's basically like a ret paladin at that point. You sacrifice all your healing abilities so you can do damage. Pretty much like a ret. But it's also a viable build, apparently. It's not like shunned like DPS tanks. That might be interesting to try out. But for now, I'm pretty okay healing. I don't mind it. But I am enjoying the game, so... I'm sure at a point, you know, after I hit level 40 and I maybe make it to like 50, 60 renown, then I'll be like, alright, I'm kind of done with the game now. But because there is new updates coming, not fast, maybe every 3 to 6 months, because it is just a team of people like making content in their free time, basically. They're not getting paid for it or anything, you know. So it doesn't need to be quick. Then it can become like a seasonal game for me in a way. Just make a new character every now and then and blast through. Like, I could see doing that. If I played a bit more, it wouldn't take that long to hit level cap. Like, I was fighting someone in one of the battlegrounds at level 14, and then 2 days later he was level 40, so... yeah, if you want to level in that game, it's quite quick. I'm just a big casual. Please don't tell me that. I really hope they're not also doing this. I want to kill the geologist myself. Ultra Combat Ultrism. Ultrism. Got a lot of geologists out today. But yeah, even if it's like with my friends or just new friends that I make from the guild or whatever, I am going to enjoy all the content that the game has and, you know, actually play through it and see what it's about. Probably make a YouTube video later on about like the potential that was with Warhammer Online. Maybe sometime next year. I've been playing this game for a few months now and it's so sad. Because it could have been great. Grab this fella. There for a little bit of rage so I can charge it. Geologist will be walking down here. Get this one next. And we can do those two. It's all geologists right now, so it's actually good for the quest. Might actually get the 8 geologists before we do the escort, which I don't think has happened in the Medley thus far. I'm gonna eat a spider sausage. Because I am going to fight these 2 mobs, and one of them is stuck in a tent. I might be able to damage on it. Nice. Get some damage on target. The nice thing about the geologists, at least, they do a lot of damage. You know, fireballs are crazy in this game, but they don't have any armor, so you can just pound them. So it's not all bad. How for 2007, I just remembered back to 2007. That was the year after high school. It's been an alright year, you know, having to get a job and stuff like that though. Ugh. But I was playing TVC, which was pretty good. Pretty much right out of high school, I was like, alright, time to work. I'm sure a lot of people do. Also got my power bill less than $200 last month. Usually it's like, you know, 210, 220. But I guess because it's been warming up a lot. Big cheap last month. Pretty nice. In the winter, it's like, you know, 300. Nice, we got our geologist. Still got to do the score though, so.
How are you?
Get on to date. I could hand in the court before the escort, so we can start farming the spider leagues, but just in case someone else comes down here or these mobs respawn, I'd rather get it done now. It doesn't matter too much. Lose a few spawns here and there, but whatever. Might actually turn the heat off now for a bit, because it's warm, even though it's cold outside. Like 12 degrees right now. My computer doesn't accurately show where I am, so it shows 3 hours up the road. It's the temperature, for whatever reason. I don't let them know my location, so, you know, they're like, alright, we'll just pretend we know where you are, dude. Right now I have Crusher. When I was in Dunedin, it was showing Dunedin weather. Like, it's snowing, and I'm like, yeah, it's fucking snowing. Don't need my computer to tell me that. I can look out the window. Guys always weird me right when they're about to die. I guess a spider would do that though. Like, you know, if a spider's feeling threatened and start spraying web out its ass. Go web. See if I can get enough rage here. We got a parry, that was good. Like a double rage tick there. Nice parry, Haston. How much parry do I even have? Almost 10%. That's not too bad. So, I think something bit me on the thumb last night when I was sleeping. Felt like a little bump, and it's itchy. Whenever I was gonna say mouse over. Whenever I, you know, put my finger over it or something. Whenever I mouse over it, a bit itchy. I think something bit me right on the thumb, and it's so annoying. Just a small bite, like maybe a sandfly or something, I don't know. Small spider. Flea. Hopefully not a flea. There's a flea, there's many flea. And then I will flee. Alright, Dorius. You summon the boys and I will kill the boys. Fucking diabolical. Here it comes. Oh, really? That was not a good whirlwind at all. One of the mobs dodged. Or it just missed. I didn't really read. I just noticed that the damage wasn't good. 6-9. 6-1-9, but different. It would be my wrestling move. If I was taken after Rey Mysterio and I was wrestling, dude, 3-6-9. I just like the sequence of numbers, honestly. It's not even because 6-9, isn't it? Just the sequence. Like we could do the 3-6-9-12, you know. It still works. Once you get to 15 though, it starts to lose it. 3-6-9-12-15. It's like harder. It's much harder to say than a 3-6-9-12. So those sequence of numbers is pretty good. So I think by the time we're going back to Tanaris, we should have over 60,000 experience. Maybe close to 70k. I mean, we're gonna fly down to Cure and all that stuff as well before we go back to Tanaris, so could be onwards to like 80k, honestly. So that's pretty good. We can definitely level today, even with the late start. Now, I would have liked to get 49 last week, but yeah, I thought it was better to take the day off on Friday and do the housework and all that before my grandma got here, because she is a clean freak. And if there's housework to be doing, she would have probably done it, so I didn't want her to come up here and do housework. I thought I would do it myself. Mow the lawns, all that stuff. Only took an hour to mow the lawns this time. It was a rather hot day. I was definitely sweating, but I didn't get sunburned. Definitely tanned up a bit more, but that's fine. I don't mind having a tan. I throughout most of my adult life, I haven't really had a tan that much because I don't go outside. Like, I work from home. I'm not really an introvert, but I do have introverted tendencies. Like, I don't really enjoy being around people 24/7, you know? But I can interact with people and all that stuff. Social is pretty easy for me if I want to. And I play a lot of video games. So yeah. Why would I need to go outside? Alright. Doing the leecher. Don't think we'll be using that belt on this character because we've got the plate one. And Francie does much better damage than Balmer when she actually hits the target. For now, if we don't replace our Whirlwind axe though, maybe not. Kind of looking forward to playing the Druid again. you know, even though we're playing Boomkin, her damage did start popping off when we played her last. It was actually kind of fun for once. Boomkin. Also, for anyone who is like a maybe a RuneScape enjoyer or just a Gillenor Games enjoyer, it started up again recently. Like a big competition where they have a lot of content creators just going at it. RuneScape stuff. I was kind of wondering why they didn't have any WoW players, because a lot of, you know, WoW players started recently, but apparently they did a little Where Worlds Collide sort of thing a few months back, so I ended up watching that and I'm like, this is where all the WoW players are. That makes sense. I think maybe if any of them keep at it, maybe next season of Gillenor Games, maybe you might see like a WoW player in the main. But I know Guzu, Savix, and maybe even Soda are back on Classic WoW now. Prepping for OnlyFans free and stuff like that. Still don't think I'm a relevant enough content creator to bother. Plus, I'm not someone who wants streaming to be my career anymore. Like, I like playing video games, but you know, I don't like the other aspects of that would come with that. As much as I like interacting with my small, relatively sane community. Say relatively, because sometimes someone will be acting up. Don't think I would ever like to be someone who's got hundreds of people watching and screaming in my ear, stuff like that. Plus, I'm probably not even... I'm just a guy, you know? I don't find myself particularly interesting. Just a dude that plays video games. Chill guy. I was actually having a discussion about that with friends last night. We were talking about social media, and because, you know, New Zealand and Australia are banning it for anyone who's under the age of 16, which is a good thing, I think, because we got into the topic of bullying, and with social media, bullying doesn't really stop when you come home. Like, it continues, because everyone's online and all that. Back in my day, as soon as you went home, like, you'd have instant messenger and stuff like that, but you could just block someone pretty easily. Plus, not everyone could just add everyone on instant messenger. You kind of had to have the person's email address and stuff. So, you know, you're a bit more careful about who you give your email address out to, I think. Compared to, oh, this is my Facebook. So yeah, like, any bullying that I had to endure in high school was only at high school. Thankfully, I didn't get too much of it, you know. I think I got bullied maybe like a week to 2 weeks maximum, because I really care. So I guess I picked another target. I've talked about it on the stream many a time, about how I was bullied for my shorts being too short, and it's such a funny thing to think about when you look back upon it. I'm like, what the fuck? But the only reason it was ever like a thing that affected me is probably just because it was 3 people. 3 against 1 is kind of intimidating, you know? Francie, we are very low health. Can you not get 3 parries in a row? I'm gonna have to use that potion even though we got 21 of them. Being bullied by this mob. It was just like parry, parry, parry. Like, But yeah, bullying doesn't really stop these days with social media being such like a prevalent thing. Like I remember my niece coming home from school one day. She's like, she was 6 when I was staying there, right? So still very young. And apparently someone was being mean to her at school, but then also being mean to her over like the iPad. This is why young children shouldn't really have an iPad, so they can disconnect from that world when they get home. Why I gave her my computer, so she can just play Minecraft by herself, maybe with some friends, and then not have to worry about it. Although I didn't really give it to her, I gave it to her father, but most of the time it's probably just for her to play Minecraft. And apparently that computer's still running pretty okay, so good, because it's like 14 years old now. I got that computer at the end of 2011. So basically 14 years old. So the fact that it's still running, and I never changed the CPU. The RAM is the same RAM that I had when I first got it. The graphics card's the only thing that's really been altered. Like I went through 3 or 4 graphics cards. But the fact that it's still going is amazing. I hope this computer's still going in 14 years, especially with the price of RAM now. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the price of RAM and VRAM, but yeah, I can't wait for graphics cards to come out with only 4 gigs of VRAM because they're too expensive to make with 16 gigabyte. And that's because of AI and tariffs. It's funny because my friend wanted to upgrade his computer last year and I said to him, make sure you do it before the tariffs hit. And all that, you know. Thankfully he did. He listened. Otherwise it would have been another $2,000 right now to get that same computer, I think. That's insane. I cannot see myself buying a new top-of-the-line graphics card. They cost as much as a freaking car. Like, what's that about, you know? Not a new car, but a car. Why does a graphics card cost $5,000? It doesn't make sense. That's New Zealand prices, obviously. We're kind of fucked over here when it comes to PC parts. But if I can buy a car for the same price as a graphics card, yeah, it's not worth buying a graphics card. Like, ain't no way.
What's on your mind?
Might actually keep that silk, just in case we get 20 of it.
Be good.
60 of it, rather. From our travels, maybe do another silk turning, because, you know, the warrior does gain a lot from cloth turnings. Not having to do 59 to 60 naturally is always good. No stone. Let's see. We're almost halfway through this level. We'll definitely be halfway through this level before we get to the... I rubbed that itchy bite on my thumb too much and now it grows. Kind of how it goes when something's itchy, you know, you want to scratch it or rub it. It's like, oh, stop being itchy. It's what it is. Itchy and scratchy show. Go talk to this dragon over here. Dragon. There's new content coming out in Total War Warhammer this week, I think.
What can I do for you?
I'm not going to buy any of the new DLC, but there is some free LCs, so that's always good.
Have a good
Content for free. Sadly, the mod that I use is going to be fucking broken for like the next month or two, so yeah, we're gonna just have to play the base game and hopefully have a bit of fun. New high elf faction mechanics though, and I love high elves, so I'm sure I can have a little bit of fun with that. Might actually make it good. The high elves in vanilla are kind of boring. High elves in modded, very fun. Let's go hand in this quest in Ironforge. And then we'll fly down here and kill Jakua. Sorry for the yawn. I am probably still tired from the weekend in some ways. I feel refreshed. Like I wouldn't say I had 8 hours sleep last night. It was close to 7 though, at least. But you know, my body is sore because I was awake more often than not over the weekend. Like this weekend was probably the most active weekend that I've had in my life for like the last 5 years. Just going out, meeting people, out all day, going to lunch, mowing the lawns, doing the housework, all that stuff, you know. Very active weekend. I didn't mind it though. Like I was like, I could get used to that. Like actually doing stuff in life rather than sitting around playing video games or making videos. Like I like playing video games or making videos, but human beings are social creatures, so getting some social interaction isn't the worst thing. Actually, I think a festival is on this weekend coming. I might go to the beach and see what that's all about, actually. Just if I walk around and see people, you know. Also, something I didn't mention, on Friday I was mid-shave and there was a knock on the door, and because I have a shave before I jump in the shower, you know, with the electric razor, I shave first and then shave after my shower for the rest of the stubble and stuff. Get rid of it. I was a bit naked, so I had to quickly put on my clothes. Didn't put all of them on. I didn't have any underwear on, but I had to quickly put on my clothes so I could answer the door. We're not going down to Booty Bay, actually. Why cancel the flight and fly on. And I answered the door. The lady who knocked on the door had just put the package down. I will get to what the package was momentarily. And was about to leave, but then obviously I answered the door. So I was thankfully right on time after putting my clothes back on hurriedly. Now, when I say clothes, I mean the first things that I could have grabbed. So they weren't particularly... Like, my package was revealed also. A little bit. It wasn't my underwear. It was just some thermal leggings. Basically, like, you know, how girls walk around in yoga pants. That was pretty much what I had going on. So, yeah. So she answered the door. Or I answered the door. Why would she answer the door? And she's like, oh, picked up the item, which was a bouquet of flowers. And I'm like, hello? She eyes me up and down. Because naturally. That dick. And then she's like, these are for blah blah. And I'm like, she doesn't live here. Because it was for someone who I've never even met or known of, so... Whoever ordered that bouquet of flowers for that person either needs to update their address book or actually, you know, get real information. And this was the day after I received a package from somewhere for someone that I didn't know. Wow, so I'm just getting everyone's mail lately. But it was really awkward, like, you know, answering the door to someone when you're not even really dressed. I was thinking about just answering it with no shirt on, but, you know, that might have been a bit much. If it was a guy who I answered the door to, it would have been okay with no shirt, I think. But because it was a woman, I was like... Probably put a shirt on. Because I could see the outline. Oh, fuck. Only have 3 more seconds to put a shirt on, isn't it? But yeah, it's... We have been getting a lot of mail for other people recently. I've gotten a few magazines, I've gotten a package, I've now had flowers. And if she had just left those flowers there, which I think was going to happen in like 10 more seconds if I didn't answer the door,
King's honor, friend.
then I would have had a bouquet of flowers. I would have been like, wow, I can give these to my grandma now. She was coming down anyway. Well, he lives down in Dunedin, which is where I lived. Where I was born, actually. But it never really felt like home, you know? I feel a sneeze. The game cheered at me for having a sneeze. Thank you, game. I think it might be this week that player housing comes out in WoW. I hate when I sneeze right now because my nose being like runny-ish and stuff. Yeah, December 2nd. So literally today that player housing comes out. I don't think I'll be playing Warhammer Online with my friends this week. I'm not gonna bother with a house because I don't think I'll be playing Midnight anyway. I told my friends last night when they were talking about like what plot everyone wanted and stuff like that. There were about 6 or 7 of us on Discord. I was just like, yeah, I'm probably not even gonna play, so I'm not gonna bother getting a plot. You guys can do all that. I might need to go and blow my nose. It's a bit, I can feel it being a bit runny over here now after that sneeze. So I'll probably land and log out. Never know if Tiramis is going to fly into town. Hunter might be kiting him. Blow my nose. Come back, kill Jakua. Go down to Booty Bay. Don't see no Tiramis. Oh. I don't know if either of these is an inn, so probably just log out in this corner here. But I'll be back in a few minutes. Might as well take a pee as well while I'm out there. So yeah, a few minutes and then Alright. Hopefully, I don't need to worry about my nose now. It's always annoying when you just feel like, you know, you have a sneeze and then you feel a little... like when you run a tap and it's just like... just a little bit of water's coming out. Basically how it feels. Yeah, hopefully now we don't sneeze again. But as I said a bit earlier, I have been a bit fluey. There's a thing called hay fever. When there's too much pollen and shit in the air, that's generally what gets me. And because I mowed the lawns and it's currently spring, yeah, assume that is probably why. The main reason I don't really like mowing the lawns, I'm gonna be honest. I might just get someone to do it for me. Like at the last house, when I was living in Dunedin, there was someone who would come around and mow the lawns every week. They generally didn't do a great job of it, and it only took them 5 minutes of time because they just wanted to get it done and then go home or whatever, go to the next one. You know, I feel for the people that have to mow lawns because it's not an easy job. You see, if you want to do it correctly, which most of them don't because it's too hard to do. Mowing the lawns on paper seems easy, but then you start doing it and it's like, man, this is exhausting. Just say if you're pushing, right? We got a push mower, so it does take a bit of effort. Got like a pimple here, I think. Feel it. Feel it on both sides. A bit annoying. But yeah, like, especially if you're doing it in a very hot day, you're just sweating balls. Like, I literally felt like I was in Australia again when I was mowing the lawns. Over the weekend, I was like, oh, sweet. Dripping. Drink like 2 liters of water in an hour, you know? Crazy. I do have to go to Booty Bay to hand in a quest. Maybe I should have done that before doing Jakua, because now I kind of want to hurf out of place rather than run back around. I don't know. Probably just run and go down to Booty Bay. Didn't really think of the most efficient round trip. Got a lot of things to hand in. But it is what it is. We'll get there. Kind of wondering if WoW tokens will drop this week, because a lot of people are going to come back and obviously do the housing early access. And if there's any housing items that cost money, people are going to want WoW gold, so that might be an interesting time. I have already bought a few WoW tokens, so I spent most of my WoW gold, but got a little bit left if they go down. Make it a cheaper month to play the Medley. That's pretty much all I'm using my money for now. I think Guild Wars 2 is out this week also. Not Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 1 Reforged. It's already out. But it's not like a fresh server or anything like that, so I'm not like super excited about it. Like I'll play it, I think, just because it's a updated UI, stuff like that. So it might be a little bit better to play compared to when I last played. But because it's not fresh, it's like, I don't think it would ever happen because it's a private server that's been running over 10 years now, but imagine a Warhammer Online fresh server. One started from the start, one had to grind up like similar times, scenarios would be popping off, PvE would be popping off, PvP would be popping off, it would be great. It's one of the issues with the private server because there's never like a steady stream of new players. It's quite hard to get content going before level 40 because most of the community is level 40. But it's alright. There do seem to be enough people wanting to keep playing and play new characters and all that stuff. I was actually playing with a few Russians the other night. Couldn't understand what they were saying in the chat, but one of them did speak some English, so he could sort of talk to me. And I was just helping them kill some of the lair bosses, which are just open world bosses. 3 of them in tier 1. We did 2 of them. For, you know, running out of time. But I was just standing around healing a little bit in PvP, and then they came up to me, invited me to a group, and started speaking Russian. I'm like, English question mark? I couldn't understand it. I don't speak Russian. I don't read Russian. I think it would be an interesting language to learn and learn how to read, but right now it looks like hieroglyphics when I see it, you know. But isn't that cool about MMOs? You can just randomly play with people from Russia. When you're sitting in your home in New Zealand, like that's so sick. So I was probably playing with them for like an hour, then I jumped off. You're allowed to be late, dyslexic. It's okay. I was also late by over an hour. I was getting myself all beautiful and ready for the stream, you know. Here, boys. Yeah, I don't know why Alliance players are There's some Alliance players that don't come to Swamp Sorrows because they're worried about the mobs that PvP flag you. Just use your eyes. Not that hard. Look where you're going. Unless your eyes don't work, then it is probably hard, but if you're playing WoW, especially hardcore, you generally have okay eyesight. There are some people who do have limited eyesight that do play. I saw a girl streaming this game and she has to like get real up close to the screen to be able to see what's going on. I don't think it happens a lot with hardcore WoW. I had a gym teacher that was like that, a PE teacher I guess. He couldn't really read. So anytime, you know, he had to take the roll or whatever, he would just have to like get real close to the paper and read and write. His eyes didn't work that well.
Need help? Be careful.
That's probably why he's a PE teacher, because he didn't really have to do anything other than tell us to run around the field or something. You know? But he seemed like a chill guy. It's actually crazy. I did manage to run into one of my school teachers recently. He's still working there, and it's been over 20 years. I'm like, damn. Doing something different to what he was doing when I was there, but pretty crazy. Like, that's good job security, being at a high school as a teacher for over 20 years. Like, you must love that job, you know? Getting old now though. I think it was like 40 when I was there. So getting old. It's always funny when you like go back to the town you kind of grew up in and you see someone and it's like, do I know you? And I stick out like a sore thumb if anyone has met me because of this. I have had this white piece of hair pretty much my whole life. So if anyone who has met me has noticed it, I'm pretty easy to see in a crowd if you just glance. Like, I know that guy. Even if you don't remember my name, you might remember that, you know? Pretty distinct, I would say. Not everyone has a white piece of hair at the front of their head. It's like my marker. I don't mind it though. When I'm out and about. So if I... The funny thing, when I was like in my 20s, all these, you know, 50-year-old ladies or whatever would come up to me and be like, whoa, is that real hair and stuff like that? I want something like that. If I wanted to pick up some cougars back in the day, I think it would have been pretty easy, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really, but it would have been pretty easy. Now I don't go outside enough to know if people would notice it, so... But perhaps in the near future that will change, especially, you know, in December with friends coming. Recently, my grandma being here, like... I think this next month, I'm probably going to be outside the most times in a month. Like, more than I usually would in a year, honestly. As someone who's worked from home for many years now and plays a lot of video games, this next month might be my most social month that I've had in many a year. Probably high school, honestly. Like, obviously I was working out of high school, but I didn't really hang out that much outside of work. It was like, yep, go to work, do the work, go home, play WoW.
Need assistance? You have a great day now.
That quest is done. Big experience. Now we go to Ratchet. Thinking about maybe flying up to Darnassus to hand that in. Before we fly down to Varellis. We'll see. $60,000 experience until 49, which should be doable today. We got a few more hours to work with, so I'd hope it's done. Even though I yawn. I don't know what content I'm gonna add of Francie's into Lena's video because nothing that exciting has been happening so far. We need to find like a piece of gear that is exciting enough to be like, alright, let's keep going. Done some blacksmithing, but that's not really exciting. I don't get too excited by blacksmithing, I'm gonna be honest. Perhaps if we start making Imperial plate gear, but I feel like that would be part of Francie's video anyway. We'll see. I'll try to get Lena's video done this weekend coming at least. Because after this weekend, that is when... Well, actually, there's a festival on this weekend, so we'll see. Might be out. Once again, another social thing. Right before my friends are coming, there's a freaking festival happening. It's like, you guys picked the worst time to come to this town. They're coming right after something, and then right before something, they're leaving. It was probably the cheapest, to be fair, so it's probably the best time for them. But it's right in between activities. So it might actually be quite hard to get a video out even in December. Play I can, but be one. I'm not going to be playing enough to get more out of it. We might complete Francie during December. We might start Friend, but I doubt we get the 7 levels. More people might turn up that want to hang out also. Like if other friends are in town from like, you know, the high school days or whatever. I have returned to the town I went to high school in. So right now it's all on the table. I would say this week we're streaming probably for the next 4 days if nothing happens. Next week we're definitely taking at least Wednesday, Thursday off, probably. And then after that, well, it's all open in here, and around Christmas, obviously, we be not here. I will be... I don't generally do a lot on Christmas, but I want to do at least a little bit this year. Hang out with some. Gonna be a bit busy. But we can at least get Francie done, I would say. Before Christmas. And then I guess if things settle down next year, which they might not, because I might also be studying, might be going back to school. And obviously, January, February is when that would probably start. I think the Medley has taken too long. And it's now getting to the point where it's like, there's so many things I want to do in life. In a way, it's kind of a good thing, you know, that it's taken so long, because it's kind of made me tired of playing WoW. These two people just arrive on the boat. It's nice at least that Francie hasn't had to do any Timbermore rep grinding yet, but as I did say, if Francie needs to grind a few levels just to be safe, in terms of, you know, staying alive so she doesn't lose the blacksmithing stuff that we have going for us. I'm not going to level blacksmithing. Fuck that. It's terrible. We will do it. We'll grind a few levels if we need to. But I'd like to get to at least 51 this week, I would say. Oh, we don't have the Jara flight path. Do.
Hurry back!
Oh, I've got to fly to Rutfair in 8 minutes and then fly back down, so that's probably another 10 minutes. 18 minutes of flying, let's do it. Might stop in for Alice as well to get another 3,000 each. If we get 49 today, say around 50 tomorrow, then we should be able to get 51 on Thursday, Friday, you know? That will bring us 3 levels away from where we need to be on this character. And next week's going to be a bit disrupted. So I don't think 54 will happen next week. But the week after, possibly. It really depends. Like I said, it really depends on other people. I know I'm guaranteed to be out a bit next week. But after that, I don't know who will show. I haven't locked in anything, but I'm assuming some people will be in town to see family. I might run into them or something, you know. And that might lead to something. I'm very easy to, like, even if I haven't talked to people for over 10 years, it's very easy to just strike up a conversation and be like, it's just yesterday when we talked. Like, I had a friend who contacted me on Steam. He was in my Wrath of the Lich King guild. And I hadn't really talked to him since probably the start of Cataclysm. And he hit me up on Steam last year. Maybe this year? I can't remember exactly. Sometime recently enough to remember it. And even though we hadn't talked for maybe like 10 or so years, you know, the conversation was flowing. There was a lot to talk about, obviously, because it's been 10 years. Like, he's got a family now and all that. It's like, damn. He was in high school when we were playing Wrath of the Lich King. I never really take it personally if people just disappear from life, because life is busy. So I can easily talk to someone who I haven't talked to in many years. Because my life's been busy, and I know other people's lives are busy. Like, obviously. Not everyone has all the time in the world. There are some people who I wish I had talked to more throughout the years. But I feel like everyone has like that, right? It's just part of life. Plus, it's like a two-way street, right? I think about the people that I would have liked to talk to more over the years, but they also didn't talk to me that much over the years, so it's like, I can't take full responsibility for it. It's like when you think about someone who you played maybe vanilla WoW with, and it's like, well, if they wanted to also talk throughout the years, they might have tried at some point. Like, yeah. The few people who I have added on Battle.net from my vanilla WoW guild, you know, it's because we cared enough to talk to each other. Collectively. Friendships can't just be a one-way street. That would be terrible. That's one thing I have found throughout a lot of life with friendships. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much. Because I like talking to people a lot. And then you think about the person, it's like, I don't know. Especially when it goes back to like vanilla WoW people. Like, I talked to some of them in TBC when we all came back. Because we kind of split during TBC because, like, Serpent Shrine Cavern and Tempest Keep were difficult. This is why I'd like some pre-nerf raiding content in TBC. Anniversary, like, that'd be fun. Just to go back and get my revenge upon it, because I'm a much better player now. Stuff like that. So we'd catch up a little bit after that, to stick around, do some PvP, stuff like that. But I think as soon as Wrath of the Lich King come out and I moved over to the Oceanic servers, that was probably the last time I talked to a lot of them. But then when Classic came out, apparently a lot of them remembered me. So one of my friends who I have on my Battle.net from vanilla was like, oh yeah, all these people are coming back. We're all going to be in a guild together. This guy's a streamer now. He's got a lot of people that are interested in playing with him. But damn. It was kind of crazy to find out that my very first guild leader in vanilla WoW has become a streamer who has, you know, like 500 plus concurrent viewers. Much better streamer than I am, you know. I didn't think that would ever happen. He did not seem the type to do that, I'm gonna be honest. But, you know, life changes. It's been 20 years. It was 15 years at that point. I haven't really been keeping up though, so I don't know if he's still doing it. But it's always fun to think about, like, all these people that I played vanilla WoW with when Classic was coming out, they still have memories of me. It's nice. I never played with them in Classic because I was playing on the Oceanic servers, and I wasn't even playing for that long, right? I played 3 months before I stopped playing Classic WoW. I just didn't really like the community and where it was going, I'm gonna be honest. Too much boosting and bullshit. Too much min-maxing. Not really the game for me. Classic WoW anymore when it comes to raiding and such. That's why I like hardcore, because I can just level to 60, do my own thing, not have to care about the community. I'll be honest. If no one was playing this game, I would be having the same experience. Although having to wait for mobs at least. No one would be killing them. People get upset when I talk like that because it's an MMO and they're like, why are you even playing MMO if you're just playing a single player game? It's like, well, I've played the MMO portion of it for 20 years. Like doing my own thing sometimes. But you know, they're all the people that get upset about that are also probably the bad part of the MMO. If they're willing to get upset about things that don't really matter to them, like someone playing an MMO like it's a single player game, they probably are the problem. Like the people that I would want to avoid when I play one. From experience. I don't get upset about how someone else plays the damn game. Yeah, let's go Feather Moon first, and then we'll go to Pheromore and Entonara. Like I make comments about how people are playing the game sometimes. It's like, if you're running around as a warrior just punching mobs, that sounds boring to me, but I'm not gonna shit on it. Like, it sounds boring to me, I wouldn't do it, but, you know, if they're having fun and nice challenge for them, go for it. I'm not gonna be like, alright, this guy's just solo and everything, he's a terrible MMO player. Because I don't really care. People pay their money to play the game, right? They should be allowed to play it however they want. And when it comes to a game like Warhammer Online, I'm doing the MMO elements all the time because it's kind of required in that game. But at the same time, it also doesn't cost money. So I'm not paying for it, so I'm not allowed to play how I want. No, that's a joke. Also, my grandma got me a gift. Don't really like them, but they're like bubble gums. Just little balls of bubble gum. They kind of suck though, because you like, you know, you chew on them for about a minute and then they start losing their flavor and I'm like, ugh, gross. But I like blowing bubbles, so I wish they had a bit more flavor, to be honest. She brought them up here because my cousin's children, I don't know what they are to me, so I just say my cousin's children, they didn't like them because they've all got braces and stuff. They're going to have much better teeth than I have had, because I never had braces, even though I got this gap in the middle of my teeth. Might have been helpful. I don't mind it though. I'm used to it, you know. Having a gap is fine. One day I hope to get my teeth maybe all taken out and just false teeth, whatever. Just to make them all beautiful and shiny. They have been through it. There's been a lot of my life where I just haven't taken care of them because of depression or just not knowing good dental hygiene, because my parents never really cared about that sort of stuff. They smoked all the time. Their teeth were always rotten. Like, when it come to us, we kind of had to figure that shit out ourselves, because they never brushed their teeth, so why would we think to brush ours? But yeah, my teeth have been through it, so I definitely need to fix them up. They look okay, but I don't let you look in my mouth. So you get the frontal view. It's kind of alright, right? You know, they're white enough for the camera, but yeah, there are some issues that I've been through in life because of it. And many a toothache and stuff like that. But at some point in the future, when I have enough money to actually focus on just that, I'll get it taken care of. Because teeth are very important. Right now I need the money to actually survive and get through, you know, all the other stuff. There's no... I wish dental stuff was cheaper or free, because everyone should be able to have that quality of life, you know? Similar to healthcare, like healthcare in Australia was basically free, which was amazing. You get an ambulance, you pay like $1, you know, compared to something like America, where you get out of hospital and you owe them $1 million. It's like, no, I should just let me die at that point. I'm never gonna owe you $1 million. Like, I've seen some hospital bills from America and I'm just like, I would rather just not have that done. Like, if I got sent to hospital and I was in America and I came out with a bill that was like thousands upon thousands of dollars, I'd be like, should have just not called the ambulance. I think that's probably how a lot of people feel when they see that sort of stuff, you know. Thankfully, healthcare here and in Australia is a lot less. But it's not free here like it is in Australia. There's no Medicare. Just another reason to go back to Australia, I think. Especially as I get older, you know. When health starts to become more of an issue. But that's kind of why I want to do some qualifications over here to go more into the healthcare support work sort of stuff. And then probably just move back. There's more jobs available, there's more benefits when it comes to living over there compared to here. I like New Zealand. It's a nice country. But it's not the country that I was brought up in, definitely. got paradise tax applied to it. And we're very isolated, obviously. But a part of me is like, yeah, going back to Australia could be cool. Or I could just do something new and go to like Europe. Because if I'm in Europe, it's like a new country I could go to every week, you know? Like, that would be cool. A little bit more of a travel. It's, you know, a day worth of flying to get over there, but like, there's so much life over there, so many different cultures to discover, you know? Then I could play Warhammer Online all the time because I'd be in Europe in a European server. There's definitely a lot of options that I am thinking about when it comes to living in the near future. I think by the time I'm 40, I want to have that next chapter all opened up for me and all that. So we've got 2.5 years to get all that going, and hopefully from there, I don't need to play World of Warcraft every day to feel good. I did say to my friends last night, you know, if my computer, with the prices of graphics cards and stuff, if like my computer ever stops working because of my graphics card or anything in the near future, I might just go level up all my stats in real life. You think about real life, right? The way that I would need it to happen is if I pretend there's stats. So like cooking has stats, basically like RuneScape, wood cutting, all that stuff, you know? You level up as you get more and more experience. The XP bar is kind of hidden in real life, so they exist. Like, as you start cooking, you get better and better at cooking, right, in real life, but you don't see the experience bar. I wish I could see the experience bar. I think I would be way more into the real life video game if I could see the XP bar. But that quest will come back later, because there's one to do down here. 80,000 experience. As I said, we'll probably be over 80k experience by the time we get back to Tanaris, and that is definitely happening.
Can I assist you?
And we'll go to Dust Willow. About to say for Alice, and then Duskwood. We're in for Alice, and we're not going Duskwood. I usually just say Fairmore, I don't really call it Dustwallow Marsh. But yeah, I think if real life had XP bar for the skills, I would probably try to max them out. I'm gonna be honest, I would have been maxing out my cooking and everything throughout life, you know? But because there's no XP bar, I don't never really treated it. But when you think about it like that, it's like, oh, yeah, it all makes sense actually. It is just an MMO in real life, isn't it? Got it. It's got hidden XP. But you do gradually get better at things as you do them. It's like when you start riding a bike when you're really young. Like, I started riding a bike probably 3 or 4 years old. You have training wheels when you start, right? So you can get better at it without falling off and then you get rid of the training wheels, and then you start falling off because you're not used to it, but you are getting more and more experience. And then eventually you're doing like crazy stunts and shit on your BMX. Like, it's an actual MMO, real life. So I wonder, like, if I was to put all the skills of real life, I wonder how much, like, levels I have in every one of. There's some that I haven't really put levels in, I would say, you know? Like, I've definitely leveled up my agility and strength and stam a little bit. But it can also drop. That's the thing with real life levels. They can drop. You can lose them if you stop doing them. So my strength is probably not as high as my strength has ever been. Stam probably the same. Agility, I would say, is been consistently high because I like, you know, moving around a lot. But when I was working out when I was in Australia, my strength was probably at its highest that it ever was. But I wouldn't say it was like 99, you know. But it's getting back up there now. Started working out again recently. Like, more than just 2 push-ups a day. Oh, Baron's music immediately. Oh, just hit me like a pack of rocks. Don't think I've ever seen that rare. I noticed he was rare because he was green. I've never seen a green lizard out here, I'm gonna be honest. Oh damn, that must be a rare thunderstorm, yeah? You've been thunderstormed. That's not the word, but it is now. Thunderstruck, obviously. I know. Not Strobo. Well, most of the time. But I always said, like, I was really good just for no reason at chemistry, right? Absolutely no reason that I was good at chemistry, but I was. I went up for like 3 awards for excellence in chemistry in high school. I had really smart people in my class and I was better than them at chemistry. And I don't know why. So I think I could have maxed out my chemistry skills if I had, you know, kept at it. That's why I think I'd be good in the healthcare system, stuff like that, because chemistry is pretty good. You can literally be a chemist, you know. Maybe I will go cure cancer. Maybe it was just a 20-year hiatus of chemistry because I wanted to play World of Warcraft. But maybe now it's time to go cure cancer. Fuck cancer. Alright? I do think, however, there already is a cure for cancer because it happens a lot less with rich people, you know? It's a bit sus. There was actually a... There's, you know, the r/bald subreddit that I talk about from time to time. They're very supportive people. But there was this lady that was posting there talking about like her treatment stuff that was going to happen. So she was going to shave all her hair off, I guess. Absolutely gorgeous lady. Amazing eyes. Like, they were very piercing. Still pretty gorgeous bald, but sucks that people have to go through that. Obviously, you know, especially when you're a lady. You might want your hair. As a guy, I think it's a little less of a thing, but even dudes have struggles when they have to go bald for various reasons. We could eliminate that. Be a nice start for humanity. It's the pain of having to go bald because of cancer. Like, fuck that, you know? Fuck cancer. Yeah, I was reading that thread and there were people saying to like make a wig and stuff like that. She did have really nice hair, so it wouldn't have been like the worst thing, but yeah, she just wanted to be bald. But like I said, still looked good bald. Like, it's on this, you know? Some people are just amazing looking, no matter what. I hope if I ever have to, because I have said if I start balding, it's all going. I am already committed to it. If I ever start actually going bald, which maybe I will, maybe I won't. It hasn't really started thinning or anything yet. It's basically the same. I just always keep it short. I do have this, like the front of my hair is definitely more forward than the sides, but I don't think that's any sort of baldness going on. I think it's just how I am. Like my hairline is weird, you know? Because nowhere else is showing any signs or anything. But if it ever does start happening, it's all going. I've already come to terms with the fact that I would do that immediately if that was the case.
What can
So I hope if I ever do have to, I hope I don't look terrible when I'm bald. Now I can't grow a real facial hair, like the sides are always terrible. You know? I've never been able to grow the sides. I think I would look better with a goatee than I look with sides that I have going on now. So we'll see. Also, for the last like 40 minutes, I've only gained a little bit of experience because I've just been flying around so much. 49 might be a struggle today even. Still got Tanaris. Obviously we're going to be doing quests in Tanaris. I should probably go finish the pirate quest before we do all the other stuff. Yeah, that was a lot of flying around. I didn't really notice it because I was having talks about things, but when you look at the clock and you're like, oh jeez, it's been 40 minutes of just flying. Suddenly you're like, not so confident about leveling today. Yeah, I think we'll head to the pirates, do the dock walkers, swashbucklers, try to kill Andre, and then play this and the ogres and thirsty goblins. I'd like to be 49 before I get on to, honestly. I have memories of leveling in Benares on my classic gnome warrior, which basically looks the same as what Francie does. Had a different name because I never used Francie back then. Frankie wasn't like my online alias until recently. Like when I came back to streaming a few years ago, that was when I picked up Frankie again. Yep, that's my name, so I might as well use it.
Oh, do I have a deal for you? Keep it
I
real.
have a deal for me. Not gonna take that. We're gonna take the money.
Glad I could help.
All this money.
Hurry back.
Grab the quest here while we're here.
Glad I could help.
Feel like I've got dust in my eyes when I arrive here and it's all freaking dusty.
Talk to me. Keep it real. Time is money, friend.
Like it. Like,
Talk to me.
kinda need to pee.
Glad I could help.
Like an old lady. You pee all the time, you know? Especially when you're hydrating.
Talk to me.
I want to see if I can get these levels. What we have. Only 2 levels, and then I will have the quest for the Orium, I think.
Hurry back.
See if we can bang that out. Well, I believe this guy should be the guy. Maybe this guy. I don't know which one. To get the Imperial Plate stuff started. Imperial Plate is going to be kind of an important grind to do on this character, I would say. I think the sun's coming out now, so might be an afternoon walk on the cards. Wouldn't be the worst thing. I usually go after like 4:30, 5 o'clock though, so I don't have to deal with like all the kids being around. There's a few schools around here, and man, 3 to 3:30, you know, they're all over the place, so I don't like going for a walk at that point. Not quite gonna be able to make 2 mithril spears because it does take quite a lot of need more stone. Sadly, we won't be able to make it 265, but let's see if we can make 264. We've got a lot of mithril, as you can see. Yeah, we need the stone. Kind of crazy, we quested for like an hour and then we ran around for an hour. Nice. 6-4 is...
Keep it real.
We should if my calculations are correct, only be one level away from being able to get the queen for the Imperial plate.
What's up?
That's what I'm hoping. Listen. More spider sauce down. Just trying to make room for potions.
Keep it real.
By using other things. I'm gonna go AFK real quick because I need a pee. Might also have something to eat. Because then maybe I can go a bit longer and just blast the 49. I'll be back momentarily. Alright. Some food in me, just so I could have a bit more energy. So if I need to, I can go a bit longer. Because I would like to hit 49. Question is, where do I go first? We can return to the pirates. Try to get Andre done and all that. They are a bit... The reason I didn't do the pirates completely when I was here last time is because as a warrior, I wouldn't say they're the easiest thing ever. Now, a warrior with the gear I had. I'm a little bit more geared now, but we've still got the whirlwind axe, so we'll see. So we'll go down pirates and see what's going on. See if there's possibility to get all that done. Say that might bring us about to 100k. Then we'll probably go to the bugs. Grab that quest when we go up there. I love going to a restaurant and getting a burger. Because they're always so massive, right? They're like way over the top. It's not like if you go to McDonald's or Burger King and get a burger, they're just tiny. But whenever you go to a restaurant and get one, everyone's like, whoa, that's huge. It's always a marvel. Because I always get a burger at a restaurant, because I know it will always fill me up. And leave me, you know, pretty well fed for the rest of the day. On Saturday I didn't even have dinner because lunch was a burger. And they're cheap, like $20. Good meal for the rest of the day. Job done. But after finishing my burger at lunch, one of the dudes was like, well done. Because it's a lot, right? I found that really funny. Like, thanks, man. It's a lot. Got it done, though. Played well. He just ordered a steak, honestly. Steak, very good, but was also $45. And I was like, man, $45 for a steak is a lot. Especially when the steak wasn't even that big, so it maybe wasn't even worth $45 in my opinion. Like, the burger was worth $20, 100%. The burger was probably worth more. Like, the value for money that I got out of my meal was much higher than the steak, in my opinion. That's why I always go with burger. You can't really go wrong with a burger, honestly. It's really hard to fuck that shit up. Hot all the pots. There's a chest over there. You need to kill dock workers. Gonna have to kill this guy. Because he is gonna paint. There is someone over there, so might be an AoE mage. Obviously, I'm going to put retaliation on. Okay. I wonder if that mage will actually... Like, this mage might full on drain. I kinda hope not. Alright. I feel like I just charge in there and go at it, because otherwise I'm gonna pull them all anyway and I won't have rage for... Just like that. See, warrior's alright when you're ready and prepped, right? That's what you meant to do. That's why retaliation is the best of the 30-minute cooldowns. It's still stressful because I'm a warrior. Like when I ran in, I'm like, I'm fighting 4 mobs. This is stressful just because I'm a warrior. There's no reason for it to be stressful, but it just is. Because you are the class that can get decimated by doing stuff like that. Didn't even need a potion though, so it was fine. But yeah, if you got a plan, use retaliation. It's pretty chill. Really. I accidentally sweep and strike the hamstring. It is funny. Grab the cheese. Yay, nothing. Yes, have been pretty bad. The sad thing is that that mage is gonna want to kill all of the mobs that I need to kill as well. But we're gonna have to deal with that. These guys do disarm, so it's kind of rough fighting 2 of them. So hopefully we can get one of them down. Nope. Let's say, hopefully we can get one of them down before we get disarmed. Not the case. I remember when I came in here to get the Stolies shipment. The only reason I actually did it already on this character is because there was a mage who came into this room. And I was just like, I'll follow him. Basically got a free carry there. Nice. The disarm missed. It was a misarm. Alright, 5 dock workers and swashbucklers. Might be hard to do because of the age out here, but should be able to get it done. At least we killed Andre. Feel good about that, you know? Like, that might be content that's worth putting in Lean's video. Little bit of fancy sneak peek. Start pulling these dot work that can take. We need them. The only way to get them is by not letting the mage get them, because these are the mobs that they generally go to farm, right? That and the swashbucklers, but at least there's swashbucklers in the huts. We need them. There's some dock workers in those as well, but they're a bit harder to come by. What are these guys doing? AFK? They're not, like, evading? Good. It looked interesting. It looked like they were AFK for a moment, you know? Like, did the mage pull and get them stuck in combat or something? How are you even blocking, mate? You don't even have a shield. Cheating bastard. Man don't even have a shield and he's blocking. That makes sense. Their parry, I can get behind. That's fine. But a block? Cheat. Need one more dot word. Like this. Just gotta find 4 swashbucklers. Not too bad. Rogue. Looks like all the swashbucklers are dead. We'll just kill some mobs and wait. Wait around for our swashies. Gonna start calling them. I like to have all these photos, paintings, not photos. That photo of his faint and his children. I don't know if that's Maeve. But Eve? Eve. Maeve is a night elf name. Maybe Lofar. Some dude. Some other dudes. Like, they're interesting pictures, but I don't know who they all are. Actually, this isn't Eastfiend, this is Eastfiend. I feel like they added this one in Classic WoW. 100%. Because the quality is worse. And you know, Blizzard, that anything that got added in Classic WoW was worse quality than Vanilla WoW because they added some questionable things like spell batching and stuff like that. As long as this mob doesn't run up there, we will be okay. Need that last swashbuckler to respawn. in here. Get on out of here. Yeah, the eyes on this one are weird. Like it's scary. Oh damn. I've never seen this guy. He must have literally just spawned as I was looking at the pictures. Seemed to do a lot just to leave. Mortal strike? No, not heroic strike. Weapon strikes. I don't think they're better than our rogues. But I mean, we can send them to it. Here's 10 levels higher than them, so them being better would be interesting. Never seen that rare in my life though. It's always fun. Because we're playing so much, I guess. We're just seeing rares that we've never seen before, and it's like, cool. Alright, I need one more swashbuckler, so hopefully Mage hasn't killed absolutely everything. Sneeze. Sneeze into a disarm, that's fucked. Boy, that sneeze doesn't make my nose start running. Pretty bad right now. I'm pretty sure it's just the pollen in the air, it's just fucking me. Alright. Those two quests are done. Head up there, grab the other quest to go to Burning Steps. Since it's worth a few thousand experience to hand in. Then head on over to the bugs. Do the bugs, and if we need to before 49 we'll go do the ogres. Save the thistle shrub stuff for tomorrow. But we'll start in Tanaris tomorrow still. Get to 49. Maybe go and do some... Maybe we save the Furbog farm. I don't know. We could go do some Furbog farming. But we can also just go to Searing Gorge. Like, Searing Gorge is a pretty good option. Could get a full level there to 50, I would say. If not, very close. And then back to Foralis, which should definitely get us to 50 if we're not there. And then maybe do the Furbog farming. Hopefully be close to 51. That would be cool. Then after that, probably Blast. Do the Blasted Lands to 51, 52. And some stuff. We'll see. We might end up grinding some mobs as well on this character because, like I said, I want to keep the warrior alive.
Time is money, friend.
Best way of doing that might be grinding
Have a good one.
killer mobs.
good.
Money.
Keep it real.
30,000 experience to go. 44 minutes on potions. Hopefully, that's all we need. Also, there was so something happened. I didn't mention it because it was something I forgot about until right now. But I was telling my friends about it last night. So a scammer added my grandma on Facebook as a friend and started talking to her. Now the scammer was also called my grandma's sister, who was 90's name, and was pretending to be her and saying like she had strep throat and everything. And we had just been out for lunch with my grandma's sister, so I was like, there is no way she got strep throat within like an hour. So I think that's a scammer. And then the person started asking for like the national health identification, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, that's an obvious scammer. But it's so funny how like we were out for lunch with the person who the scammer decided to try and be the same day. It's like, that is crazy. I never would have thought I'd be out for lunch with someone and then an hour later a scammer would come around and try to be them, you know. But my grandma's also old, so she did humor it for a little bit before I clicked on to what she was doing.
Yo.
I was just like, that doesn't sound right. It's like, I've had strep throat before. There's no way. It just happens for no reason. Within like an hour. My throat is really annoying right now. It's not strep throat, but it's annoying me because all the sneezing and pollen and everything in the ears. Ugh, dying. Priced. They're priced. Ben, leave me alone. Touch this. Keep having to do that. Feel like I got like boogers in my throat after that sneeze. Not a great feeling. Especially when you're streaming. Sort of trying to see if we can find some gals already in before we head to the bugs. Obviously I want to get this quest done. It's worth another 4k experience. Every time I talk and then my throat starts filling up and I'm like, ugh. The stream's gonna be awful. I might have chicken and rice for dinner tonight, a classic. Obviously, you know, when I used to work out a lot in Australia, chicken and rice was like 3 or 4 times a week. It's kind of boring, but it's so good for working out and getting gains. I'm not even like working out, but there's still some gains to be made. Like I said, we've got to get the stats back up. We need our strength stat to go higher. Alright. Bugs. I don't like how that wasp just flew right over to that swarm. Gonna fight him. Don't want to fight him with the swarmer. Miss Parry Dodge. Saw someone called Miss Parry Dodge, I think that was their name. It was a random assortment of those words. Whatever friction it was. But yeah, I saw them running around Stormwind and I was like, nice. They were a warrior, so made a lot of sense. Warrior always Miss Parry Dodge and kind of our thing. We do that. Sometimes we get big crits, so he annihilates them. Can fight the swarmers on the warrior. We have Thunderclap. Make use of Thunderclap. The swarmers do only hit for like 1, so pretty fine. Sometimes they just like come out so fast, so these yeah, like that, 2 in a row. Big kicks. I used to not like doing this quest very much because of the swarmers. But you know, if we come here on a lower character or a character I don't think I can handle, the swarmers, I just don't fight them. Pretty avoidable. Stingers are also kind of rough. They do a lot of damage. $28,000 until we level. So if we can get that done, and probably the ogres, then maybe if we need a little more, we finish the Gazridian. Run around and get it done. I might as well today anyway. Saves me having to do it tomorrow. Let's be real, we don't want to be running around looking for Gazridian every day. Right before I went to bed last night, I actually started... There was a video that was like 90s cartoon theme songs. And I wanted to try and remember all of them because, you know, I grew up in the 90s. Even though I was born in 88, I would consider myself a 90s kid. Because that was where I spent most of my kid life. So it was kind of fun to just hear nostalgic tunes. Some of them are really iconic. Like, as soon as it starts, I'm like, that's that one. But there's some that are just like, I don't remember this at all. There's also a bit of like Mandela effect with that sort of stuff, I think. Just like, I don't remember that being the tune of the song or the show. Like Courage the Cowardly Dog. I remember the song Courage the Cowardly Dog. It might have just been a New Zealand thing though. Like maybe in America it's different, and I'm guessing the video author was in America because there were things that definitely weren't on TV for me in there. But then there's other ones that you're like, I remember this, but I don't remember like the name of the show. Like Arthur or Hey Arnold, you know? Like I remember them, and when I hear the tune, I'm like, yeah, I know what that is, but I don't remember what it's connected to. Kind of crazy. World of Warcraft replaced a lot of like knowledge in my brain for a while there, though, didn't it? Alright, I'm playing WoW now. That's where all my knowledge is. I get this wasp without the swarmer. But I will say, some cartoons had really boring theme songs. Then you got South Park, who's just like blasting the South Park in right away. But honestly, if you've watched South Park ever, you know the South Park theme song from the first little piece of music. It goes dun, and you're like, alright, that's South Park. There was a few of them like that. Batman, actually, I recognized really easily, and I didn't think anything of Batman. Like, the theme song's kind of shit, but it was very easy to, like, put together. I was like, is that Batman? Might be Batman. I was quite pleased with myself when I got some of them within like 1 or 2 seconds. I was like, yep, no doubt. Exactly where that's from. Yeah, I was feeling a double. Just so I'll get the rage ready. Really need to do that, but hey, we got our 5th thing, so it's fine. Who the ogres? Always have a pimple developing right in the middle of my eyes. Right at the top of my nose. It loves this spot. It's always so annoying and itchy. Around my mouths as well, like here. I say around my mouths. I've only got one. on my left mouth. Disgusting vortex, or like disgusting vortex. I am so glad I don't need to farm any more of those. That was the worst grind I have ever done in Classic WoW. It didn't last that long. It's just that the mobs have a 30-minute respawn. So it took over 4 hours just to get, what was it, 8? Yeah. 6 of those items. I guess we'll head down to the main guy first. Like starting with the main guy. Get him out of the way. But yeah, 6 of them took so damn long. Did not enjoy that grind at all. Chest. Mind the main guy. I'm getting the damn chest. Best believe it. Yeah. A Mithril over there. You need. I do feel like the chests have gotten worse over the last few months. Like, we had some alright chests throughout the medley, you know, we picked up some blues, but it's been a while since we've had good items from chests. We have a green every now and then, or a pattern, but yeah, it's kinda bad recently. There's a few solid stone. I don't know if it's enough to make another item. We getting there? These 2 ogres. Ogres, my lord. I never really got the meme of ogres, my lord, in Warhammer Total War because I didn't play when that was a thing. But apparently, there's an advisor in that game who, you know, advises you. I haven't turned off most of the time though, so he doesn't advise me. But he used to spam it. I think during Warhammer 2. I didn't play then, so I've only heard it because there's some guy that makes meme videos and I've watched some of them. I mean, it kind of explains the lore, like he's doing meme videos, but it also explains some lore. But, oh, okay. So they're actually good. You know, Warhammer lore is pretty crazy. It's very hard to keep up with. There's a lot of characters. Here and beat this guy. Disarm him when he gets to about 50% because he enrages. So I would rather not have an enraged ogre, especially when he's currently, you know, not taking damage. Francie loves to grind. I didn't even notice I was in Berserkers. Why can I not overpower? No wonder he was doing so much damage. Just sitting in Zerka. Bad. I thought I'd change back like that, you know, go in Zerka to activate Zerka Rage because it gives me more rage when I take damage. So it's good. But I guess that time I forgot about it. Which doesn't generally happen. Mildly concerning. Overpower, or the 5 Thunder Armor Special. Just blast the damage after. Less than 20k experience. We're gonna get 8 and kills. We need a lot of kills still. And if we manage to do the Gazridian, definitely fly through. I like how these mobs miss a lot. You know, they give the real Fury Warrior experience. I was thinking about going Fury on my non-Medley warrior because I've got Fresh Blade and good. But I do love arms, especially when that character's critting for like 1,000 damage with Mortal Strike. The gear is pretty insane on that character. Overpower miss. Mortal Strike miss. I mean, he's missing just as much, but I don't want to miss. Parry dodge. Put my shield. Instead of going into Berserker and using Berserker Rage, I equip my shield. Which is a GCD. So. First fat finger in a while, actually. Brain must be getting tired, you know, we fat fingered, we stayed in Zerka too long that one time. Losing it. But that's okay, because we are coming up to the end of the stream day anyway. And I'm now getting an itch, you know. Yeah, I'm hopeful that the next 3 days I will be able to stream. Make some good prog in the medley. And get to at least 51 this week would be awesome. Because next week's going to be kind of hit or miss. Like a few days when friends are here, so yeah, not going to be streaming while they're in town and available to hang out, you know. Never know when the next time I get to see them. If it ever happens. I mean, it's 10 years until I get to meet one anyway, right? So, gotta make the most of it. Why, if I'm ever back in Australia visiting people, I'm just like, alright, all the friends, let's go going to dinner or something. Yeah. Like, it's a lot harder as an adult to hang out with people freely, and because I have the freedom of self-employment, it makes it a lot easier to hang out with me. So, yeah, when someone else is in the area and I can hang out, obviously I'm going to. But that does mean that the stream has to sacrifice because... yeah. It's a bit more important to hang out with people in real life than it is to stream a video game. If the stream was making me thousands of dollars every day, I might consider it, but... even then, I would probably still go out, you know? I had a sore on my nose over the weekend. I like... you know, sometimes when your peripheral vision picks up something that's on you and it's like red, so bloody. At least it's not doing that now. Bit of scarring, I think. I don't know why, I just woke up one day and it was like scratched up, so I must have scratched it up or something when I was sleeping. Yeah, I don't think we quite have enough experience after the ogres. Do I really want to run around and get cars ready and done today? That's the question. I don't really. Especially because I'll still be here tomorrow. We can just get it done tomorrow. We might run down to where the quest comes from. Generally, there's like 3 or 4 spawns down there. But let's see, these are worth 7,800 experience. We're gonna need another 7k or so. Which isn't too bad from just killing, I think we can. So when we get to 128k, then we'll be running and handed. Hit 49 and then log off for the day, and pretty good timing in the end. The rest of the experience definitely made it to where it was possible. Because, you know, after flying around for an hour, I was a bit worried. I was like, damn, we just wasted an hour flying backwards and forwards. Sometimes, Francie. Sometimes. Make it very hard for me to see a world where you make it to level 60, especially if you've still got this fucking axe. I am worried about her, honestly. We still got this axe going into level 60. Ooh. It's not gonna be fun. If I ever get like a Lord Alexander's battle axe or Kang, something like that, it's gonna be the most hype moment ever because my warrior will be able to play the game. Getting about 400 experience per kill. When we kill. So 2.6k and then, yeah, that should be good. Well, no, we need 128, don't we? 3.6. I think 6 more kills. We should be about where we need to be. If I can math correctly. We'll find out when we go back to town. If I can math correctly. Hopefully. Math wasn't my strongest subject. But you know, when it comes to numbers, I'm alright with that. It's just when math starts becoming like algebra, that's when I'm like, nah, that doesn't make sense. No one ever taught me algebra. I went to school, I never learned algebra, and then algebra showed up, and I was like, what does this mean? That's why I think I was taught wrong, you know? We taught him the wrong way on purpose. Basically what happened. He cuts. Hopefully not in a bad way. Hopefully they just mean plays Trackmania and finds the shortcut. Been a relatively alright day of wowing, I would say. You know, considering I didn't play for 4 days. Friends actually have made any progress. Sadly not. Apold doesn't even have game time, so he's not going to make any progress anytime soon. He's stuck at level 50. Alright, that should be enough to get us this level. Head over here and check the Galsridian. Head up and hand in and log out. Ended up getting to about our stopping point. That's good. How long was this level? There was like an hour of flying. 4 hours? We're full rested though. Let's say 3 hours without all the flying. Not too bad. About average when you have full rested on a warrior, I'd say. I don't mind having full rested on the warrior, however. Because, you know, warrior, especially for me right now, is the most important character I have, I would say. Because of that. Be with the aggro. It's always fun when you're someone who's played a lot of vanilla or classic WoW and you just kind of know when a mob's gonna de-aggro just by feeling, you know. Like it's a 15-second leash and you can just kind of feel it out. You don't even need to time it or anything. It's how you know you've played too much World of Warcraft. When you have that. I have had that since Classic come out, honestly. I was already doing that just from the feeling of back when I played in vanilla. Kinda crazy. Maybe we get to 20. Be cool. Having 20 Galsridian before logging it. Heading more should be quite easy tomorrow. We'll be heading down to the Thistle Shrub Valley quest. Wouldn't mind it taking a little while to get the gland. That's just more experience. Be interesting to see how far our rest of the XP goes. Level. Obviously, not being able to play Friday last week kind of made me a bit sad because I kind of wanted to use all the rest of the experience because I knew it was going to be a long weekend. But that's okay. We might have lost a few bars of rested over the weekend because of it, but sure it will be fine. There is only a 1.5 level cat mob. Go check this one down the road because it's there and not too dangerous to get. I did forget to sharpen my weapon again. Very bad at sharpening my honestly. I need like a week aura to tell me to sharpen my damn weapon. Maybe I should make one. When weapon is not sharpened, sharpen your damn weapon in the middle of the screen. You know? Is that iron or the iron before, but still iron. Alright, head back to town. hand all the stuff in and level up.
Do I have a deal for you? Be good. Have a good one.
I will, mate. Don't think we do the Shrimshank Redemption on the warrior. I didn't even do it on the rogue because I kind of forgot about it.
Salutations. Seeing you.
Nice. 600 experience through, so yeah. We had one extra mob. Another Unbridled Wrath. And we will have another full level of rested. We already kind of do. Not too bad. I'll leave bandages.
Keep it real.
Or log it off. 2999 experience health, but we do have 120 extra health right now. Not completely accurate. But it is kind of cool. 29.99, you know, we're a barcode, or not a barcode, a price tag. Yeah, we'll get guards ready and done. We'll do all this stuff. Hopefully Tuga. Probably get us like 40 or so K through the level, and then we can go to Gorge.
Ah, potential customer.
Blast it out.
Be good.
Would probably get us to 50. Hit up Ferellis for the last bit, and then decide what else we do next time. But yeah, thanks for joining me today. I had fun. Got a level. Gonna be maintenance. Makes sense because retail's having a big patch. Like 5 gigabytes. Took like 2 minutes. Maybe not 2 minutes. Downloads are pretty fast now with gigabyte internet. Nice. But yeah, I'll see you guys when I see you next. Have a good night or day, depending on where you are in the world. I should be back tomorrow. Let's say 99% chance we'll be back tomorrow. But I also said that about last Friday, and then I decided to do housework, so you never know. But hopefully I can be here because I want to get Francie to at least 51 this week. That would be good. As long as she doesn't die. Bye everyone. Have a good one. Stay safe, all that.